Vance Johnson,
yes.
excuse me.
No problem.
Van Johnson is somebody else.
Yes.
Right? Vance Johnson, we're talking about skydiving in the Bahamas. Just before we move on to the next activity that you're putting on this year, any final things that we didn't talk about that we need to talk about?
Well, actually,
on skydiving?
With the skydiving, like I said, we'll be ready for December 1st, okay? You can go to www.skydivebahamas.tours, okay? Or you can call our phone number, 820-9776. You can WhatsApp us or put in for a reservation. I want to say right now that we're taking the Disney approach with Skydive Bahamas, okay? The Disney approach is that all locals are 50%. Okay. So once you book skydiving with us, everything that you do is 50%.
And the nominal cost now is?
Is $699.
Okay, so for Bahamians it'll be
$350, yes.
Okay, good. All right. Yes. Well, let's talk about something else, transition to something else.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I'm kind of like, all right, since Bahamians don't really go into sea, even though it's changed a lot now.
Right.
But, traditionally Bahamians never went in the sea during the Christmas
time, yes.
or winter time, which, I mean, 60 degrees in the water can be kind of cold.
Yes.
But you're talking about a Bahamas polar plunge,
yes.
which we've heard of, I mean, particularly in Nordic countries.
Yes.
Where, you go in your little bathing suit in sub-zero temperatures and take a dive.
Yes, 13.
Explain, well, first of all, why are you doing that here?
Well, let me back up a little bit. My dad took me to Knott's Berry Farm in 1974.
Which is where, excuse me?
That's in Los Angeles, California, Knott's Berry Farm. And I was leaving and I was so excited. And my stepmom, she used to take us to the studios everywhere. And about another 3-4 weeks, we ended up at Disneyland. Okay, so I'm walking with Dad, and I'm like, Daddy, I'm going to open up one of these in the Bahamas, right? And he's like, dream big, son, dream big. And ever since then, everything I did in the U.S., okay, I said I'm going to make it an attraction in the Bahamas.
All right, that's cool.
Okay, so we did the skydiving. Okay, there's bike racing and stuff like that we don't have the roads for it, so I wouldn't talk about it. But with the polar plunge, I did 5 years in Massachusetts. Okay, my first year in Massachusetts, January 1st, okay, I went out to the Commonwealth, okay, with their groups and jumped in 13 degrees, okay. The video, you should have seen the interview. The lady interviewed me because, I'm the only dark one there. And she, and I'm like, the Bahamas. And my fingers were purple and stuff like that. And I went and I did it another year. And my uncle came, and I took his kids, and they didn't want to jump. They weren't brave enough, but I took his kids, and they watched me jump. And this time I had the Bahamian flag and stuff like that. We made a big thing about it. We was on CBS and stuff like that.
Really?
And and I told my uncle, I says, we're going to do this as soon as I land in Nassau. And he says, nephew, you really be thinking big. I said, no, we're going to do it. And during the COVID, okay, I ended up flying from Acklands. I was able to get on a plane to get...
So for most of the time you live in Acklands?
Yes. Okay, so because when I moved back to handle a resort that I'm going to complete in Acklands. Okay, so that's why most of everything I do is based out of Acklands to go through the Bahamas. That way, even though I'm working in Exuma or whatever, I'm bringing the customers back. Okay, so during the COVID, I did what they call a virtual polo plunge, where I had a show. I had people in Acklands going in the water. We don't have the video for that, but I had people at Montague going in the water. We have video for that, and we had people going in the water at Iraqi. Now, what it is that 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock every morning, okay, you go in the water. Now, Vance, the Bahamians are not interested in that. That is true. But once you introduce it, they will come. Okay?
Yeah. Things like that can get them popular kind of quickly.
And the best part about it is you're doing it on New Year's morning. Okay? The average Bahamian does not go home. I used to as a kid, but I don't know what's going on now. At 6 o'clock in the morning, they're still on Bay Street.
Yeah, well, or heading towards a boiled fish party.
So can you imagine, okay, going over to Arawak Key okay, by Junkanoo Beach. Okay, every New Year's morning, you're popping your champagne because that's what we do in Massachusetts, and you're jumping in the water, the cold water.
Well, you know something? I used to go in the beach every New Year's Day anyway. So, I mean, this is something I could do.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, right, because I was, when I was in college in Hobart, in Geneva, New York, which
Okay.
is sort of between, it's on the biggest finger lake, Lake Seneca, and Seneca Lake. And our coach, when we came back from Christmas holiday, would make us swim that. So, I mean, you're talking like 20 degrees.
Yes.
So that I could probably
Yes.
handle.
And
But, you know,
it's like I explained. Excuse me. Like I explained also to when I first did it. I also learned climate that we had a global warming problem.
explain that.
Okay. When I jumped in the water, because everyone asked me how did I do it. Okay. Because for some reason, whenever I do something, I want to go. And when I jumped in that water, there was a police boat for safety. Okay, I swam to that. Okay, until the police, they started having fun with me because, you know, they were trying to find out why I'm under, because what I did was when I jumped in the water, I was like, this is cold, but I went to the sand and it was warm. So I said, okay, I'm gonna beat them. So I stayed to the bottom. Okay, I can stay in the water for at least a minute. So I did my, 55 seconds and I came up. And when I came up, I was right to the boat, but the police, he moved and we started playing. So I went back down and they asked me what happened. And when I went on the boat, because they allowed everybody had to swim back. But because I went so far, the policeman said, oh, I'm not going to let you swim back. So I was on the boat, they put me a towel and they took me, Again, a lot of people treat me.
But you're saying even though the water was chilly, the sand was warm?
It was, okay. Let's say I was in about 15 feet of water. Okay? 7 feet was warm to the bottom.
Wow.
Okay? That's when I realized that we do have global warming.
That's
Okay?
interesting.
And
I'd like to hear what my science friends have to say about that.
and
my
that's
scientist friends.
that's how I did it. Daskray was like, oh, I can't believe you went in the water because over here. And I was like, dude, all you have to just go to the bottom. Alrighty, because even in my interview in Massachusetts, the lady goes, how were you able to, go so far? This is the second year. We noticed that you always go the furthest. I said, what I do is I stay to the bottom. I said, if you notice, I never come up. Because everyone, they run in the water, and all of a sudden they're running back.
Now, you've been doing this for how long?
I did it 4 years back to back in Massachusetts.
No, I mean in the Bahamas.
Well, we did it in, okay. What happens is that during the pandemic, I was able to witness homelessness, okay? Because I was one of the few people, because I was doing the mass, so I was one of the few people that was able to drive around in the night because I had to deliver masks to different customers and stuff
all right.
like that. So I got to see a lot of stuff. And I was like, people are actually homeless. What can I do?
Yeah, well, we're not doing much about it, sadly.
And so, yeah, it was a big loss at the beginning, okay? But I was like, you know what? Let me get the charity going, alrighty, so that when the people buy shirts, it can go towards the homeless ministry so that we can either help the people. We feed enough people in the Bahamas, but we're not housing anybody.
And sadly, as you know, I'm finding out more and more every day.
Right.
There's still more people who are in need of food.
Right, there's
But
more.
you're right. Why we don't have a homeless shelter is something I
Right.
don't get. But anyway.
So that was my whole point with the polo plunge, so that every year, okay, the proceeds go to a homeless shelter, okay,
Or
so that
someone
we can,
who's trying to house.
someone who's trying to house this, so that they can help people. Alrighty, I know. I'll mention her last name, Miss Knowles. I stumbled on her by mistake. Okay, we had a conversation. She's like, "Oh, Vance, I've got 6 guys that lives with me." I'm like, "What?" She says, "Yes, I parted my house because they're homeless. I have to help them." I said, "How do they pay?" "Well, some guys pay 100, some people 150, but I don't pressure them." And then when I went to her house to see, as she didn't know I was doing it, but I wanted to see the environment or whatever, it's clean, it's decent, and young men are actually being changed.
Oh, yeah, you will change if you're going from not having a roof over your head to one.
Right,
I mean, there's no doubt about that.
and they're living in a nice area. They're not having an outside toilet. They're not sharing bathrooms. I mean, it's a house where 4 guys stay. Okay, that's fine. The other house has another 4 guys. And the average house has 1, 2 bedrooms. 2 baths. But hey, everybody's comfortable.
That's a story that we should be telling too. But let's get back to the polar plunge. About how many people have been doing this in the Bahamas?
The first polar plunge, we only had about 50 people. Again, it was
That's
marketing.
a lot for a first go.
Yeah, it was, and actually most of our people, guess where they were? Montague.
Okay.
And because we had a team out to Montague, okay, and the lady, she did very, very well out there, okay, and it's only because when we did it, everyone was like afraid because it was COVID. We did it
So
2021.
how come you didn't get under pressure get pressure or heat
Well,
from the authorities?
Well, again,
'Cause there was a time when they wouldn't even let you go on the beach.
Well, actually, the time that they told me about it, okay, I did all the regulations. They wanted me to have the EMS out there. Okay, they said, hey, look, if you have this, okay, we want you to use the whole of Western Esplanade. So as soon as you see you got too much people on this side, you spread them out. So that's why I was able to have it, because nobody was close. Okay, and the same thing with Montague, nobody was close, and that's how come we were able to pull it off.
Okay.
And it was just, like I said, we did 50. Okay, it was a success. We attempted to join with them. I think I'll mention their name because apparently they did it about 3 weeks after me, and everyone called the Pied Piper. Hey, is that you doing it? I says no. I says, you know how it goes. And so, but I called the people up. I say, look, let's do this next year. But again, COVID stopped everything. So now, basically, I'm in the reset mode because the country just opened up in 2023. People don't realize that. We're 1 year of opening. Okay, so to me, to come into 2025 with all of the events that I was having in 21 and 22 and not making a profit, okay, it can be done in 25 and on, because they're not one-time events, they're annual events, they're tourist attractions.
Now, is there a dress requirement for doing the polar plunge? Can you only wear like a Speedo or something like that?
No.
Or you can wear, like, a lot of Bahamians used to, at least on the day. Now, I'm not sure if today used to go in their, shirt and pants, and that awful sight of seeing grown men in their tidy whities.
Right, well, right, and I'll tell you this. If you go and you look at the polar plunge around the world, even if you look at the ones that I did in Massachusetts, you'll have people in the Statue of Liberty. Okay, so I want someone with a conch shell.
So to be in costume, you want them?
Yes, people do that. You have people coming with, that's why I went with the flag that year, okay? You have people coming with their flag representation. You have some guys, they'll come skinny with a Speedo, and then you'll have some guys coming with, the swimsuit, one guy with the scuba gear and stuff like that. Everybody has their own preference.
Right.
So you don't have to come in.
But you're looking for people who are a little creative and
I
got
want
some
people
kind of
who are creative,
costume.
Right, and it's like, when I first did it, it's like this family, the guy smoking a cigar, Mike, that was his name. He's popping his champagne, and he goes, Vance, I've been doing this for 17 years. His daughter was 20. Her first one was at the age of 3. And every year he has his family, and he says, it's a tradition. I was like, you know what, we can do this tradition, and because, again, with the skydiving and the polar plunge, it's also not only a tourist attraction, but it's also family.
I can see that.
You see? So now, my whole thing was coming from Bay Street after Junkanoo, going by Cricket Club. Okay? I'm not going to watch, but you watch it. Okay? But how can I contribute? You buy a t-shirt. But guess what? Next year, they're going to jump.
So tell me something now. This should be a lot easier to sign up for.
Yeah.
So how do you sign up for the polo? When will it? It'll be New Year's Day.
It'll be New Year's Day. Okay, every New Year's Day. Okay.
At what time?
Well, we plan to jump 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
You're saying jump, but I don't want people to be confused with a skydive.
Yeah, okay, but
Plunge.
you plunge.
Yeah.
Like the jump, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna plunge around 7:30 because the excitement about it is jumping in this cool water.
And doing it together.
You see, and so that's the whole thing about it. We plan on having a big event with it. Okay, we're going to go exactly how we envisioned it when we first started. A kiddies, place for the kiddies. You know, we want to go to the Ranfully home. You know, you bring the old folks out to the you know, you have a booth for them, but they come out. If they want to go in the water, they go in the water, or they just see. Okay, because those are the people that we want to cater to. We want to go to we want to get the kids from the Ranfully home and we bring them out there. Okay, they have a little kiddie section.
I'm sure they love that. Well, I mean, there are big differences in age there, but I'm sure they love that.
And so it's like we want to almost like unite, you know, the Bahamian public together. And what better way to do it at the first of the year?
That's a good time.
You know, and then maybe we can bring the year in peacefully.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. We definitely need to do that.
Right, you see.
We got about 10 minutes left, so I want you to start. Sorry, and how do you sign up for the? You get online?
With the Polar Plunge, we're gonna. The last time we did have a landing page on Facebook. We're gonna upload that again, okay? And
so that should be up around when?
Everything we have planned for another weekend.
Okay.
Okay. I do not use international people anymore to do my websites because I want to stop the talk where I'm a Bahamian and then I'm calling my guy up in India to do something. You understand? So everyone's.
And it's called Bahamas Polar Plunge.
Yeah, Bahamas Polar Plunge.
Great. What's the sign up requirement? How much to register?
The sign up requirement is just buying a T-shirt.
And the T-shirt costs?
T-shirts they're not gonna cost no more than $20.
Okay.
Okay, no more than $20. I put a cap on everything.
And this is just for fun. No prizes really. Anything.
Well, actually, we would have when we first started it. We did go to one of the marinas. Okay, we did have a jet ski.
Wow.
Okay, and so that part is where, you know, the people, they put a $50 or whatever. It's like a raffle thing.
Yeah.
And we'll have that again.
Okay.
Because I've got my contacts on that, you know, where we can go and have a jet ski, you know, to give away. But of course, it'll be for a raffle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And you know, whatever we raise, okay, goes towards the, you know, Ranfully home or homeless. Whatever, you know, however we separate it. But the whole thing is to help the.
So each year you go to a different charity, or?
Yes, each year we want to go to a different charity, okay? And we want to go to a different charity, but we want to focus on the less fortunate.
And that's something very good, a good way to start off the new year for sure.
And because we put down 30,000 the first one, okay? If all it went well, we would have raised about 150. Can you imagine raising $150,000 every year?
Yeah, it's a good thing. You can put it to good use.
Okay, and to help people, you know, and then hey, then we could do a skydive one morning too.
I got to ask you, like I said, what other extreme sports are you into, or extreme events?
I was skydiving. I do a lot of as a kid, I was able to mix with the kids in Hollywood to do a lot of BMX biking. Mm-hmm. I found a spot in Acklands, okay, that if all goes well, within a year, 2 years, once it's mapped out well, we'll do it. There's a mountain, I call it a mountain in Acklands, about 50 feet high, about half a mile, 2 miles long, and it's about this wide up top. I walked it. And when I was walking it, I was like, you know what? I can bring Brian down here and we can ride this. Okay, so,
all right.
And then when you're riding it, guess what's on your left? A drop, because the ocean is over there.
Yeah, well,
so
Atkins
that's the
is
extreme.
beautiful.
That's the extreme about it. Okay, I do hunting. I love hunting. I did it a lot back in the day in Andros. We're going to be doing it in Inagua. Okay, that's one of the reasons why we're going to introduce.
So you are really sort of making the entire Bahamas your home.
Yes, that's my whole. From a kid, I would never forget it. Standing up, the woman, my Mrs. Inoue. She says, "Vance, where are you from?" I said, "From the Bahamas." "Can you show me it on the map?" I stood up and I pointed like that.
This is when you were in school in California.
Okay. And as a kid, when I saw the eyes of those children, it's not Africa. No, it's not. "Are all those islands yours?" I said, "All those islands are ours." And I'm like, "Okay, Daddy, I told the kids about the Bahamas." "Yeah." Yeah, it's over
Well,
every island.
You know, Vance, you just saying why, because people still want to come to the Bahamas in droves, and this is why we have to cherish it, protect it, and be good to
Yes.
each other so it can really flourish.
Yes, yes,
Yeah?
yes. The best part about the experience with the skydiving and the polar plunge, okay, is that people from around the world were interested in coming. That's when I knew that it was a tourist attraction. Okay.
Let me ask you one more thing about the skydiving thing and go back a little bit because, and I said that the fear of everything that you have comes from what you see in the movies.
Yes.
Any plans to integrate this in with the film commission here? In the case someone needs some Bahamian skydivers.
Well, actually, all of that is in place. Okay. I am in talks right now with a very, very big organization in skydiving. They have a 747 that holds 300 people.
Wow.
Okay. Right now they do.
Would they all jump out at the same
Yes,
time?
at one time.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That would be incredible.
That's a record that we would want to do here. But one of the things is that one of the things is that when they do the DC Cooper right now. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if you know, but DC Cooper, he's the guy that robbed.
Wait,
the plane.
DB Cooper. DB Cooper.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
The guy that robbed the plane and jumped off.
Yeah.
So everybody goes on this 747 dressed up in black and white, and they jump off.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what we're going to be introducing next year? We're going to be introducing the James Bond adventure.
Well, that'd be fun since.
Okay? Where you jump, you fly from Nassau. Imagine this, flying from Nassau to Exuma, but you don't land in Exuma. You jump in Exuma.
Sounds great.
That's the James
Listen,
Bond.
we got to cut you there because it's the end of our show. Thank you for coming on.
It was a pleasure.
I know
Thank
we've
you,
been trying to do this for a little while.
I'm sure you can have me back a little closer.
And I will think about it, but I don't know yet.
No, I got
I'll
you.
think about it.
I'm telling you, I've convinced everybody. And the only thing I tell you is that if you don't want to jump, don't be with me on that day.
I hear that.
Okay, that's the only thing I'll tell you. If you don't want to jump, don't be with me on that day.
Take
You
care.
will jump.
Good. But for those of you less fearful, jump out of the plane and jump in the ocean on New Year's Day.
Yes.
Thanks for being on Reid Between the Lines.
Thank you.
Pretty much.